Hey y'all, so we are back again, of course, commenting on what's going on in the TikTok universe. So this video, I did not watch it. It just came across my timeline and I was like, oh yes, I have to respond to this because it's a beautiful black woman with an afro talking about how she got kicked out of school. So I'm either prepared to be heavily on her side or I'm prepared to be incredibly surprised. But either way, I'm interested. So let's get right into it.
Hey y'all, my name is Emily Munoz and I was previously a student at Vanderbilt. I'm not anymore. I was kicked out and basically I'm going to tell you guys.
Just off rip, just off her energy, I'm going to assume it wasn't her fault. It's immediately, I have preconceived notions that the school, with this alleged story, okay, everything you're about to hear is an allegation and this is not my views. This is just speculation and hypothesis. My hypothesis is that the school is racist and we're about to see an unfair story from this young woman. Let's see.
Why, and basically if you're wondering what Vanderbilt is like a top 20 school. Compare it to, let's say, Yale, Harvard, University of Notre Dame, just different schools in that caliber. And
okay, so by the way she's talking, she's really emotional about this, so it must have been fairly recent.
Basically, yeah, so the way to start this story, it all starts when I was in econ class. And I was in econ class, and there was this guy, and let's just call him Jay. So me and Jay, we were classmates, we were friends, that's really all I saw it as. And,
Lord.
We got lunch together sometimes. It was just very, very
scared.
surface level. And then at some point during...
Okay, I'm going to put a trigger warning in here, because that's what it's giving. So trigger warning, everyone.
Winter break, I got prettier and I know that, and I came back from school and I started posting more, and he would text me more, and he would communicate with me, and he would try to see me more and more. But I didn't see it that way, I've had guys reach out to me and stuff. I just saw it as this is just a friend, I don't think that way.
Girl,
and
I understand.
So, we started hanging out more. I don't know. And basically, then there was this point where it started snowing. You guys know the day where it was snowing in the South and everything, and the wildfires in California, all that.
Remember.
But yeah, so it was snowing in the South. Vanderbilt was in Nashville, and it was
snowing in the South. Just when you listen to that, it's crazy. That's why I be saying this is not real. Something about this world is not correct.
Snowing really, really bad, right? And class was canceled. Life was so good. And then at some point, this guy, Jay, he came out to hang out with me and my friends at one of the dining halls. And at the dining hall, that's when he went downstairs and he got both of us a sweet tea, and he brought me up a sweet tea.
Oh no, I'm already scared. This is the worst movie. Oh no. Okay. If I wasn't watching this with you guys, I would have been scrolled past because I feel like this is going to be scary. All right, let's just keep going. We're already here.
And after I drank that sweet tea, I started feeling really weird. And it wasn't instant, but I tasted it and it was bitter. And it was just after that, I just started feeling weird.
Girl. I have a story about this too, but I'll wait until the end. Because, the universe, thank God, was on my, be protecting me, because it could have been scary. Could have been real scary. But thankfully, it didn't. Nothing happened.
Just weird. And it was just the weirdest feeling. I can't even explain it. It was so weird. And he was my friend. And I didn't put the pieces together at that point.
Oh, Lord.
But this is when, at some point, a day passed and I was in my room and everything, and I was just chilling, but I was out of it. And I can't even explain to you the state of mind, but I was just completely out of it. I did not know what was going on. I didn't know. And I told him, I called Jay, and I was like, what is going on? What is this?
Why she called Jay?
He was
call
texting me as we were friends. And then, he came over to my dorm. and everything. And he came over.
Why does she call Jay? Oh gosh, I'm not victim shaming her, so get out of here with that. But you know, dang man, she called the dude that gave her the drink. That's scary, but you know, I get it. She's thinking they're friends. You know, I understand projecting. That's why it's dangerous to project what you would do onto other people, because just because you wouldn't do something like that doesn't mean somebody else wouldn't do. But she's young, you know, I get it. So I'm not blaming her at all. I'm just like, dang, sis, why you call him? Ah, gosh. Okay, let's keep going.
Over to my dorm, and I'm not going to tell you what exactly happened because that is sensitive and there's like an ongoing case about it. But he basically, you know, right. And I'm not going to tell you what exactly happened because like it is being handled by the police, which it's Tennessee. Like, honestly, my honest opinion, I doubt that it's going to be handled correctly. But yeah, and it was so scary. And like, the thing is, I didn't even realize what had happened at first. I didn't even realize that what happened was assault. I didn't realize it, you know? And so I just continued with my day and everything. And yeah, it all happened at nighttime. It was literally 2 a.m. It was just the weirdest thing ever. And so the following day after that, I started having a stomach ache and I was just feeling really weird. And I woke up and there was bruises on my knees and on my thighs. And I was just like, hold on a second. Like, how did this happen? That's when my memory like started to come back and everything. And it was just the weirdest thing, you know? And that's when I realized, oh my God, like, was I freaking assaulted? And my memory came back and I was like, yeah, I think so. And I connected it back to the drink and I connected it back to him. And like, it was just the most terrifying thing. And that's when I realized I was assaulted and I just started to spiral. I delved into this state of like, I was just so done. I was just so like, I couldn't even process it. And what I did next and how the university, Vanderbilt, failed to protect me in that instance, I'm going to do it in the next part. So stay tuned.
Let's just go to the next part.
Hey y'all, my name.
Oh, there's 3 parts. Okay. Oh, God. I was not expecting that.
So part 2 of how Vanderbilt kicked me out, and basically this is when I realized I was assaulted. And you know, obviously what would a person in that state do? I can't even explain it. I was just so out of it. I was like completely done. I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't even process what was going on. And you know, the person who did it, it wasn't like this random man in a van got out. It was my own friend, you know, Jay. And so basically that's when he told me, hey, okay, let's eat together at, what's it called? Let's eat together at this place called EBI. That's a place on campus.
Lock him
and
up
then
and throw away the
there,
key.
and then he said, no, actually, let's go to Butrick. Butrick is like a place where the classes are. And mind you, it was 9:30 p.m. Why is he asking me to go all these places? And then after that, that's when he said, no, actually go to the Black Cultural Center. And I was like, wait, why is he asking me to go all these places? Like, I was honestly so out of it.
I think, like, because in hindsight, I know what a lot of us are thinking. And though, I'm trying to see it from her perspective, like, that's a lot to be, like, it's so fast. It's so fast. This is why it's so important to trust your instincts, okay? Because I'm certain there were things that occurred that caused, you know, a little bit of that perhaps, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, you know, I want to be sensitive to that situation for sure. And, you know, it's important to trust your instincts, ladies. If someone is better to be paranoid than hurt. Okay, it's better to be overly cautious than to be licking and you know, bandaging your wounds. So it's better, you know, just like someone will say, you know, just because you're paranoid don't mean they're not after you. So be overly aware, because just because we think that people are good doesn't mean that they are. I remember I was an extra in this movie, a Netflix movie, and it was just, you know, something that I did. It was interesting. So I was getting my makeup done, or lack thereof, because it was like a periodical, whatever, historical thing. But I asked the lady, like, what's one piece of advice you would say? You know, I'm thinking it's going to be, you know, something cool or whatever. And she's like, watch out for the wolves. I was like, what? She's like, watch out for the wolves. So just because and I say that to say, just because you think that you're in some, you know, fairy tale land and people aren't a certain way because you would never do that to someone, it does not mean that someone would not do it to you. So projection is a heck of a thing, and you have to be very aware not to project what you would or wouldn't do on other people, because there are some dangerous people out here. There are wolves in sheep's clothing. So just like that woman told me, I'm gonna tell you and anybody else, watch out for the wolves. For real. And I'm sorry that this happened to her. Let's keep going.
I was just like, oh my God, like, I can't do this. My brain couldn't process it. My brain was going on overdrive.
Of course.
And, you know, I was still traumatized
in
from the situation.
disbelief.
I didn't even have all my memory from it because, something was pretty much like put in my drink, from my understanding, you know.
I'm drinking my tea.
And I was like just so terrified, like I didn't know what to do. And so then that's when he brings me to the BCC, and it's like 9:30 p.m. I'm like, what are you guys doing in here?
Why did she go? See, this is why I decided to work with children, specifically young girls, because these are things you have to be taught. Because if you don't know, maybe you just don't know. If you already have a crazy traumatic experience with somebody, stay away from them. Stay away from them, because it's just going to get worse. You don't, like, she didn't even have enough time to process what happened, and she's going back. Like, slow down, ladies. Slow down. Slow down. I get it. I'm not judging her at all. I want that to be very clear. I just don't want this to happen to anyone else.
And he's with 3 people. I'm not going to say their names, but I'm going to say...
Oh, Lord. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this one. 3. This is... Oh, my God. I feel like since we started it... And it's important for her story to get out. Lord.
Just some initials. He was with S, and then some, like...
If you don't put their names out there, girl.
Is Togolese, which Togo is like a country in West Africa. Again, from my understanding, it was just them 3 in there, and I was like lost. I was like, wait, like what is going on? And then this guy, Jay, he's like,
she don't have a roommate or friends and nobody she can call. Like, what is going on here? Why didn't anyone tell her to stay away from them until she got her mind right? Oh, goodness. It's stressing me out.
Like, banging on the door. He's like, let me in, let us in. Him and his man's like, you know, the guy from Togo and everything.
Lord.
And I was just confused, and I looked at them, and I was like, what is going on? And again, Jay was my friend. We talked a lot, like, you know, and so I was honestly utterly confused. I asked, like, what are you guys doing here this late? Like, this is weird. And nobody would answer me. Nobody would tell me. And then that's when I called the community service officers, because this guy, Jay, he got his friends to call me and be like, girl, what are you doing? Like, shut up. Like, and they were all like intimidating me. It was like, he literally got his female friends on me, and, you know, it was just so weird, and I was just so disgusted, and that's when...
Okay, I'm a little bit confused, so if you can, like, comment and say, like, what's happening right now, because it's just so many parts, so I'm a little bit confused, but let's keep going.
what would a person do in that case? Obviously, I called the freaking cops, and well, not the cops, but the Vanderbilt community service officers, so that they can escort me home. And because, you know, my home, my dorm, it was very far away from main campus where we were, where this all happened. And so, you know, I called them and I was like, okay, like, let me go there. And basically, as I was in the car, this guy, Jay, they put him in another car. And from my understanding, they also brought him to my dorm. I don't know why, but they did. And I was telling the officer, I was like, isn't that so weird? Like, why are they acting this way? And this is when my brain was putting pieces together. My memory was coming back, and I was like, wait a second. I remember exactly what he did. I know what he did. And everything came back, and I was just like,
oh my gosh.
So, like, I was just like.
So that's why she went with him, because she didn't have her memories. Okay. That makes sense.
I was so done. I was so just.
Of course.
Beyond it. And this officer, he's like a white man, Vanderbilt University police officer, whatever.
See, and I'm not going to say this doesn't happen all places, but this is also why I'm definitely pro HBCU. I went to HBCU. I'm definitely pro HBCU for a lot of reasons.
And he was like, just looking at me like I was crazy, you know, like I was this crazy woman. You know, I'm like this black girl. I had like my hair. I didn't have my hair like this, but you know, I was from black, so he saw that. And this is the South, and well, I was just out of it. And then that's when he was like, "Oh, do you want me to call the student affairs officer to speak with you?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever, you know." And that's when I got to my dorm, and that's when the student affairs officer came, and then. One of my friends, yes, females can have male friends. I know, unpopular opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of my male friends, he came over and he, like, you know, was listening to what was going on. I don't know why they called over my friend, but I don't know if the officer called him over or if I did. Again, my memory is very hazy because of what happened. And basically they sat there and were talking to me. It's like, what's going on? What do you need? But, you know, I was trying to explain to them, I've been, like, you know, assaulted. My brain was starting to realize it. And I was telling them, like, I've been assaulted. Like, what is going on? And I kept crying to them. I was, like, losing it. I was upset. I mean, wouldn't you be upset in that situation?
Yeah.
And then that's when, after that, that's when the student affairs officer, I sat there and I talked to him. And I was like, you know, I was talking about my faith because, you know, I am a Christian and everything. I'm, like, that's my religion. I'm not going to hide that. And I was telling him, like, this is so weird. Like, and I was trying to, you know, talk to him. And then he looked at me. He was this, like, gay white man, and he was like, you know, do you want us to take you to the hospital? And I was like, wait, why? Like, why would I be taken to the hospital? You know, I thought I was going to be taken there to be, you know, inspected for, you know, after what happened. And so I was like, okay, yeah. Well, I don't remember saying yeah. I just remember them taking me to the dang hospital. And I got there, and I got to the hospital, and next part, because, yeah, they kind of, like, threw me. So part 3 of how Vanderbilt University kicked me out, and basically this is the part after I found out I was, you know,
that's sad.
R word, and I got to the hospital after the student affairs officer took me there, and I was pretty much, like, having a breakdown, not like a breakdown, but my mind was like, I was just like, no, like, I can't do this. Like, I couldn't process what was happening. I was just so.
It's a lot.
I mean, wouldn't you be out of it after you found that out?
Yes.
And so I was at the hospital, and the hospital was the hospital that is a part of Vanderbilt, the medical center. And
they were trying to cover it up.
Just like, you know, so confused. I was upset, and they brought me to the clerk, to the front, and they kind of, like, signed me in. I signed my papers, whatever. I didn't know what was going on. The student affairs officer was not with me. I was there alone. My friend who was escorted with me there was not with me. He was in the waiting room. And then that's when I went into one of the waiting rooms to wait to speak with a doctor. and I was on this bed, and it was like the most uncomfortable bed ever. It was so bad, and I was sitting there waiting for like 2 hours, and I kept telling them, like, I've been, assaulted. Like, what is
right? Like,
what is going on? Like,
that's a priority.
I honestly was so confused, and I was trying to tell them I've been assaulted. Like, why am I here? What am I doing here? Like, can I talk to cops? Like, what is going on? And nobody listened to me. They would tell me, oh, wait, someone is going to come to speak with you. And that's when I tried to get up and everything. And I tried to leave at that point. I was like, wow, like, what the hell? Like, it had been like 2-3 hours, whatever amount of time it had been. It just had been too long. And I was scrolling on my phone, texting my friends and everything. And then that's when the doctors, they come in there. Well, the doctors didn't come in there. That's when I go out and I try to get to doctors, because I'm like, okay, I need to go. I had a class in the morning, and I have a life, so I couldn't be sitting there for hours. It was like late night. I was tired. I was in this unfamiliar place. I had just found out that I was, just realized that I was, that bad thing happened to me. And
I will interject real quick and say that's not this, but part of the reason why I stopped going to the clinic or whatever at my college, like, I had asthma. I went to the sports doctors at the college because I was a cheerleader, thankfully, because I had a full-blown asthma attack in the quote-unquote doctor's office at my college. And by the time they saw me, I had like calmed my down, because I don't know if it was like asthma attack or like anxiety. It was something, but I was having a full-blown whatever in the freaking thing. And then by the time they saw me, I had self-soothed so that I was breathing normally. I'm like, what the? So then anytime after that I would have an issue, I would just go up to the medical staff and at the sports building, because even if it didn't have nothing to do with sports, they would always take care of me.
I was like so out of it. Like, I couldn't do it, And that's when the doctors, they start talking to me, and I was talking to them. I was like, hey, can I get out of here? Like, what's going on? And then that's when they threw me down to the bed. Yes, they threw me down to the bed, ripped my shirt off. I'm not kidding. Ripped my shirt off, and I was like, get off of me, I'm a black woman, what are you guys doing? Like, this is crazy. And nobody would listen to me. And I was just like trying to go. And then that's when, and I remember the pain, they took a needle and they went like that to me.
What?
And I woke up, and my head was under an MRI scan. That's
what?
the only reason I woke up, because the lights were so bright.
What?
And, I was just like, what the hell is going on? And pretty much they sedated me, and they tried to see if they could get me on like, oh, this woman is drunk, this woman is crazy, They tried to do that. And obviously I was not drunk. Obviously, like, I was obviously experiencing those emotions, that just being upset. I was not having a breakdown. I remember that moment. I was just really upset.
And if she did have a breakdown, it's justified. That, like, if there was ever a time to have a breakdown, it would be in this particular situation, for sure. A few breakdowns, actually, for months.
That these doctors wouldn't meet with me, and they still sedated me. And then at some point, I woke up, and I don't know if you guys can see the scar, but like, I have a scar there.
I can see it. I can see it.
I forgot what it's called. It's not a straight jacket. And again, like, I don't even know why I know what this is. I shouldn't. But they put me to like laying down on this board, and then they strapped my arms on the side. And next thing you know, I was in an ER. What's it called? Emergency. What is that thing called?
Emergency room.
An emergency. I need to find the word. Like, see, I'm crazy. Oh my God.
No, it's fine. You're not crazy, girl. We get it. We know what you're saying. Just keep going. You good.
Find the word.
You good.
Yeah, I just found the word. It's called an ambulance. I don't know why I forgot that. Maybe it's like the trauma coming back.
It's okay.
So then I was in the ambulance, and my ass ended up in the Vanderbilt University Psychiatric Hospital. And honestly, I don't remember much of it because they sedated me most of the time. I was completely out of it. I did not really gain my conscience until my parents visited me. And yeah, my parents flew all the way from New York City to Nashville, Tennessee to
shout out to her
me
parents
while I was heavily sedated.
Shout out to her
in
parents.
Psychiatric hospital at Vanderbilt University. And you can imagine the amount of pain that I went through, and I was just like, I was just so sad. And I honestly, when I got to that psychiatric unit, I thought I was dead. I really did think that I was dead, you know?
Wow.
And yeah, I'm going to talk more about what happened after that in like some next parts, but this is basically the third part. They put my ass, they put this like survivor of assault in a psychiatric unit, and they sedated me heavily, and I was just like, I thought I was dead. I'm gonna be real. That's the best way to say it. God forbid, but that's the only way I can explain it, and I'm gonna explain more in another part. So stay tuned as to how I got kicked out of Vanderbilt University, and yeah, it's not a happy story. So part 3 of how Vanderbilt...
That's not what I expected. I don't even know what to say. Vanderbilt University, count your effing days. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm so sorry that she experienced. I don't have anything to say about that. I just want to see what happens next. Because, like, that's just, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, if you picking up what I'm saying, like, you get it. The girls that get it, get it. The girls that get it, get it. Well, thank you for sharing your story. And I hope you get justice, like, for real. I'm sending you protection, like, for real. That's disgusting. I'm disgusted with Vanderbilt University, and you know, Black TikTok don't play. One thing about it, two things for sure. So, and I hope she sues them if this is true, because I have to say, just for my protection, that this is alleged. As much as I believe her, just, you know, I will say this is alleged, but if this is true, like, she needs to go the distance on this. And her, shout out to her parents for coming to support her. And she's already telling her story. People are watching it. You know, I'm reporting on it, I guess you could say. Like, we're all talking about it. So I hope that this spreads and something occurs from this. Because this is part of the problem with, like, colleges to some level. Like, this is too common of a story. This is too common. Like, not to her degree, but like, this is a common, because I remember when I was in college, I have 2 stories actually. So the first one, I was at a football party because I was a cheerleader. And so the football players always had parties. We were at, other people were there. It was just a thing that we did, or that they did. And I just happened to attend because I never threw a party. But, I remember this one party we went to, they had a big vat of juice. It was punch. And it was nothing. Like, we always were drinking the juice at the parties. It was nothing. Like, it was like a big family, we thought. And so I remember I got like 1 cup. My friend got a cup. We were both there. We like scooped, we cheers to each other, whatever. And I was there with like a group of people. And so I'm like drinking this punch or whatever. He's drinking the punch. We're all drinking the punch. because I was like hanging out with one particular person particularly. But it wasn't him, so don't misunderstand. So we were like together, you know, whatever. So we're like drinking the punch, and I'm like, yo, this is, you know, this something like, this is a powdery punch. And he was like, yeah, you know, this is a little bit weird, but we were already kind of lit before we even got there. So we were already like not in our right mind. Cause you know, like you get, cause you don't know if the party's going to have anything. So you're already prepared for at the party. Okay. So anyway, so I'm like, there's something in this thing. Like, you know, whatever. But we just figured it was because the punch mix wasn't mixed properly all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't dissolved all the way. That's just what we figured. So then we go back to get more because it just tastes like juice. And then my friend like hit my hand, so my cup fell on the ground. And so then they didn't have any more cups, so I couldn't get anything else. So I just had like the one, like, and I didn't even finish the drink because he was dancing and he like hit my cup over. Thank God, thank the universe, thank the ancestors, thank everybody who was involved. Because then later, like everybody in the party is like moving real weird and like, you know, doing this all kind of stuff. And I'm seeing like 2 phones, like my phones are doing like this. It was crazy trippy. We're all like it was just real weird. Like I never ever had an experience like that. Haven't had it before, haven't had it since. And so then this big guy with dreads comes to me specifically after I was hanging out with people all the time. He comes and he's like, tries to pull my arm. And I'm like, because thankfully, you know, I didn't have a whole bunch and I wasn't like slizzard to the point where I couldn't comprehend stuff because yeah, my phone was like doing like this, but I was still in my right mind. Thank goodness, because my friend knocked my cup over. And like, even though we were already lit before we got there, we were not like 2S to the wind lit, you know? So then he like starts grabbing me and like, oh, we should go, you know, somewhere private. I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, I don't want to go anywhere private with you. I don't even know you. And then he keeps like trying to pull me. I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Like, it's like, oh, you're by yourself. I was like, no, if you've been watching me, you saw I was just with somebody. Like, what are you doing? Like, get off of me. Go away. And then he left. But had I not drinking, or had I had my friend not knocked the cup out of my hand, Lord only knows what would have happened. So, you know, thank God for that. The second story that I have is a lot more crazy than that. There was this girl who went missing and she was like an influencer or something. And she showed up at my university walking around barefoot in a jersey. And apparently she was talking to one of the basketball players on the active basketball players who was new to the school. And apparently she, and I'm gonna say alleged because I didn't see it, but I saw videos of it, but I'm just say alleged because, you know, I don't know what that was about, but she randomly just appeared and it did no news. Like, it was like, oh, she went missing, but then there was nothing covering when she got found. And everybody was talking about it. Like, it was on the news that she was missing because she was some influencer. And then she got found and it was quiet. And she appeared after hanging out, allegedly, with one of the basketball players at the school. And he was a new basketball player. I can't remember his name, but he was new, and she was walking around the school barefoot with a jersey on, and she was supposed to be from New York. How the heck did she get to Virginia? So, you know, and I went to a small university. So if a small university could manage to have that story just vanish, I can only imagine what these larger universities are able to hide. And to be able to put her in the psych ward and 5150 her from a college is insane. That is crazy. They need, like, man, it just makes you wonder how many other people had a similar story or the same or worse that we don't know about. Because I know for dang sure that thing happened at my university. I know that happened. I'm going to say it's alleged. I allegedly know that it happened. So, I don't know. Something's going on. That's also why one of my goals is to have a school. Okay, I want to have my own boarding school where if you want to board, you can, whatever. And if not, it's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Because, you know, I think that kids should be in school longer than parents are at work if parents have to be at work. Okay. So there's that. But I also wanted to go into a college because something about sending the babies out into the world is just scary. Okay. Now, I had a great time at college. I had a wonderful time. But also, you know, that thing could have happened. There was other situations where one of my friends, thankfully, my mom told me if someone ever asks who knows you're here or some question similar to that, or like, where is such and such, if you have a roommate or something, you lie, whether they're coming up or whether they're in a whole nother state or not, you say they're right around the corner. Because one of my friends, and you know, and I was still friends with him after this, which shows, you know, that's why I said I'm not judging her, because I get it. I get it when you don't really know what's going, you know, you're young. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I totally understand that, that young lady. So though, one of my friends came over, and like my guy friends were always coming to hang out. Like it wasn't anything like weird, you know, about it. We would just hang out. So he came to my room. I'm like getting ready or whatever. And the guy I was talking to had just left. So I'm about to like go out, whatever. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in the building, yada, yada. You want to hang out? And I'm like, sure, whatever. I'm like putting my makeup on. I'm about to go. So then he goes and I had like the way that my room was set up. It was like we had like a little lobby thing, like a living room space. And then if you went right here, then it would be my sink. Here, then there's a door, and then there's the bedroom behind the door, and then the tub is on the other side, or the bath is on the other side. But anyway, so he goes and sits on my bed. I'm like, whatever, like, because that's normal, because where are you going to sit? So then I go over to grab something else because I was going back to the mirror, and he grabbed me to like sit on him, and I was like, yo, what are you doing? So I like get up. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, you know. And then he asked me where my dude was. And then my mama came in my ear. And I was like, oh, he's coming right back. He's like 5 minutes away. He's on the way. And then I got myself up and I left. And I left him in the room, and then he eventually left. Because nothing happened. I think, you know, like, but you could some in hindsight, something did happen, but in my young mind, nothing happened. So I was still friends with him. I know now I would never, but I was young. And so that's the point. That's the point. Like, just because you are friends with someone doesn't mean they are just friends with you. I had another incident where I was talking to a guy that I thought we were friends. We used to like, even like, and I know people are gonna be like, what? But like, we were so close that we would like take naps, because everyone would be like at everybody's houses. Like it was just a thing. Like it wasn't weird. It was just a thing. So like, he was one of the guys that like I would just take nap there. We would all hang out. We were like all his brothers and sisters, I thought. So then we had a conversation. I remember it was after we graduated, after years of like literally being like brother and sister. So this caught me way by surprise. We were talking just like normal, because we used to call each other all the time. We were just talking about random things, and then he misunderstood what I was saying, and then he said that I was leading him on, and he cursed me out, and I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? He cussed me out from up, down, side to side, all around the world, cussed me the F out. And I was just like, what? So then that was the last time we spoke. And then a few months later, allegations came out about him assaulting someone else, right? Like a few months later. And before that incident, I would not have not believed her, but I would have doubted it based on my own personal experiences, because I have been in situations with him where if he tried to have done something, he probably could have, because, you know, he was strong. He was a football player. He was like big. So, but I had never had any instances like we were just friends. We were like brother and sister, I thought. So then when he cursed me out because he said I was leading him on, I was just so confused, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, all these years, and now because of a phone call, you're cussing me out? Like, what? So then, like I said, a few months later, allegations came out about him. So I say that to say it's a dangerous situation, you know, when you put young people unsupervised and young women out there into the world. It's scary. It's scary. It's scary, man. I hope that her family run Vanderbilt ragged, and I hope that this also creates some visibility and transparency in what's actually going on, and also can help change like the structure of how things are done, because these type of crimes should be, if you're gonna like really come after anyone, it should be people that take advantage of others in this despicable way. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think she had like 2 more videos, so we're gonna keep track of this, and we're rooting for you, sis. Like, we are all rooting for you, and I hope that you get every vengeance, revenge, whatever you feel like you need to, justice, whatever is possible. I hope that you get it all, because this is disgusting, and I know it's a common thing, because like those are just stories that I'm telling, because there's other stories that I'm aware of, but I just don't feel comfortable putting those people's business out there. But that's up and down the board. Is we have to protect people even when they're in college, especially the college. Like, that's when you're most vulnerable, because it's your first time by yourself typically, you know. So those children and that atmosphere, because they're still children, you know, that space needs to be heavily protected. So yeah.